Hello. I'm happy to share that our guest and guest of honor and whole committee of AIIMS Bhopal has arrived in the auditorium and they'll be here in few minutes. Hello, dear faculties. We are requested you to fill these 4 seats in the second row. I request Dr. Prashant, Dr. Sandeep. Yeah, thank you very much. There are 4 more seats which are vacant. Dr. Lily, can you come in the second row, please? Okay. Okay.
नमस्कार। आज के कार्यक्रम के हमारे सम्मानित अतिथिगण हमारे बीच आ चुके हैं। एम्स भोपाल में आपका स्वागत है सर। आपसे अनुरोध है कि कृपया मंच पर अपने स्थान ग्रहण करें। नमस्कार। अखिल भारतीय आयुर्विज्ञान संस्थान भोपाल की ओर से मैं हमारे बीच उपस्थित गणमान्य अतिथियों तथा सभागार में उपस्थित सभी प्रबुद्धजनों और हमारे प्यारे विद्यार्थियों का रिसर्च शोकेस के इस तृतीय संस्करण में हार्दिक स्वागत करती हूँ। आज का यह आयोजन हमारे केवल 12 वर्षीय संस्थान की कड़ी मेहनत, उपलब्धियों और असाधारण सफलताओं का उत्सव है। शोध प्रगति की रीढ़ है, नवाचार की आधारशिला है और सार्थक परिवर्तन की नींव है। आज यहाँ प्रदर्शित प्रत्येक अध्ययन और हर परियोजना उस प्रतिभा, जिज्ञासा और दृढ़ संकल्प का प्रतीक है जो हमें सीमाओं को लांघने और नए क्षितिज तलाशने के लिए प्रेरित करता है।
A very good evening and a warm welcome to everyone. AIIMS Bhopal is a leading medical institute. The institution has risen to prominence, earning a place among top medical institutes of India in the last 2 years. The individual credited for this recognition is our Executive Director, Professor Dr. Ajay Singh. Flowers are not only to welcome our guest, but also to show our respect and admiration. I request Dr. Rekha Lalwani, Dr. Sheetal Kodgerwal to welcome our chief guest and the guest of honor. We are delighted and honored to have you with us, our chief guest, Professor Dr. Atul Goyal, Director General Health Services, Ministry of Health, Government of India, and the guest of honor, Professor Dr. Rashmi Kumar, former Head, Department of Pediatrics, KGMU, Lucknow. Both of our guests are renowned scientists, clinicians, administrators, and a policy maker in their respective fields and have made remarkable contributions in the field of healthcare services. We also would like to welcome our President, AIIMS Bhopal, Dr. Sunil Malik, sir. Our Executive Director, Professor Dr. Ajay Singh, sir. Mr. Vineet Mathur, Chief Postmaster General, Madhya Pradesh Circle. Dean Academics, Professor Rajneesh Joshi. Dean Research, Dr. Rehanul Haq, sir. Welcome to all esteemed dignitaries from various institutes, ex-faculties of AIIMS Bhopal, dear students and AIIMS Bhopal family members.
आइए सर्वप्रथम हम देवी सरस्वती के आह्वान कर उनका आशीर्वाद लें। सरस्वती वंदना के लिए मैं हमारी पीएचडी स्कॉलर पल्लवी को मंच पर आमंत्रित करना चाहूँगी। साथ ही अतिथियों से अनुरोध है कि वे दीप प्रज्वलन कर कार्यक्रम की औपचारिक शुरुआत करें।
वीणाधारिणी तुझे प्रणाम, वीणाधारिणी तुझे प्रणाम, कोई रागिनी छेड़े अनाम, कोई रागिनी छेड़े अनाम, वीणाधारिणी तुझे प्रणाम, वीणाधारिणी तुझे प्रणाम। श्वेत हंस परमात विराजे, कर कमलों में वीणा साजे। श्वेत हंस परमात विराजे, कर कमलों में वीणा साजे। पग में गंगा बहे अविराम, वीणाधारिणी तुझे प्रणाम, वीणाधारिणी तुझे प्रणाम कोई रागिनी छेड़े अनाम कोई रागिनी छेड़े अनाम वीणाधारिणी तुझे प्रणाम वीणाधारिणी तुझे प्रणाम वीणाधारिणी तुझे प्रणाम. Thank you all, distinguished guests. You all may kindly take your seats on the dais. Now, as we now move ahead with today's function, let's now revisit our milestones of the past year as evaluation and envisioning. I kindly request Dean Research Professor Rehan sir to kindly deliver the Dean's report.
Next. So a very good afternoon to all of you. I think as the Dean Research of this institution, it is my proud privilege to welcome all of you to the third edition of the Research Showcase 2024. The brief outline of my report, I think I'm going to talk of the mandate of AIIMS Bhopal. I'm going to talk of the best practices that have been adopted at AIIMS Bhopal to foster an environment of research and innovation. I'm going to talk of the outcomes that we have achieved, and last but not the least, I'm going to talk of the way ahead. So as we were discussing, every institute has a number of mandates. AIIMS Bhopal is an institute of national importance, and one of the most important mandate of the institution is to conduct research that is relevant to the needs of the country. And with this mandate in mind, a very important motto has been given by our Dean Academics and our Executive Director, sir, which goes by the term Anusandhan, which is research in Hindi. And if we expand it, it basically translates into achieving newer heights in upscaling research output through a seamless overhaul, a focused commitment to novelty, dissemination, health impact, and applicability to national needs. And with this motto in our mind, some best practices have been adopted at AIIMS Bhopal. They can basically be classified into human resource development, establishment of research facilities, collaboration with other institutes, funding for research, and last but not the least, streamlining the research-related processes. So as we were talking, we have recognized that the most important and the biggest human resource in AIIMS Bhopal is the undergraduate students. An undergraduate research forum has been created at AIIMS Bhopal, and this undergraduate research forum handholds the students throughout the year and throughout their career. The idea is these are young minds, and we have to nurture them, and the output they're going to give us is going to last for years to come. And this has resulted in very good dividends. We have large number of students even sitting today who have got STS projects. We have students who have applied for ICMR fellowships. They have got them. They are representing the institute in national and international conferences, and they are winning a lot of accolades. So a big round of applause, I think, for the undergraduate students of AIIMS Bhopal. And as I was telling sir, we have started a unique concept under the guidance of the executive director, Genesis 2024. So this is one of its kind. It is an academic fest which is conducted by the Undergraduate Research Forum, and it is conducted for all the students, not only from central India, but from outside the state also. And for 1.5 or 2 days, only academic activities are conducted, and we are planning to expand that and have a PG research forum also, so that the two things can be amalgamated. Looking at postgraduate research, if you look at the curriculum of the postgraduates, they have to actually do a thesis. but most of the times the theses are not of good quality, and after the thesis is done, it is usually not published. So with the permission of the Staff Council and the Academic Committee, we are very soon going to create a postgraduate research forum. The idea is this postgraduate research forum is going to help the students improve their thesis. And once the thesis is improved, it will be publishable. It is not going to help the institute. It is also going to help the students. Under the guidance of Sir, the number of PhD students have significantly increased now. I'm very happy to say that today we have 78 PhD researchers at AIIMS Bhopal. This is a huge achievement, and we are trying to integrate all of them with us. There was a feeler that the PhD students always felt left out. So what we did this year is we have created a PhD orientation program for them. We have strengthened the coursework for them so that they feel a part of this institution. And I'm very happy to also say that ICMR has recently started a young faculty PhD scheme, and 3 of our faculty members have won this PhD scheme, and they have got a grant of 50 lakh rupees each. And I think I will request my younger faculty members also to move ahead in this direction. Any institution is just bricks and mortars, right? It is the faculty of the institution which are the heart and soul of that institution. And I think with this in mind, a large number of faculty development workshops are being conducted at AIIMS Bhopal. And they range from simple workshops like basic research methodology workshop to advanced workshop for systematic reviews, meta-analysis, intellectual property right, and more recently, medtech and other innovations. So this is just a graph depicting the total number of workshops that have been conducted at AIIMS Bhopal for its faculty, for its students, and for all the researchers. And I think this is a very, very robust number. And in the years to come, we feel that this is going to help improve the overall environment of research and innovation at this institution. If you look at AIIMS Bhopal, a large number of research facilities are already there. We have a wonderful department of translational medicine, a central instrumentation facility, there is a world-class library, there is an animal lab, there is a regional virology lab. In the last 1 year, some more research facilities have been added to this armamentarium. We have a multi-material, multi-color, multi-consistency 3D printer that has been established in the Department of Anatomy. It is one of its kind. I'm just bringing up this slide for all of you to know so that more research in this area can be done. The Department of Translational Medicine has procured a 3D bioprinter, again from a CSR fund, and this is again a facility which is very, very unique to the country. You can actually print an organ or you can print a tissue, and then maybe in the future as you do research on that, probably it will become implantable in the human body. A brain entrainment lab has been established in the Department of Physiology. And I'm very happy to say there are 2 senior scientists who have come all the way from ICMR. ICMR has supported us to establish a multidisciplinary research unit at AIIMS Bhopal. We have got a fund of 1 crore rupees, and in the future we look at this facility where clinicians and basic researchers are going to come together, and a lot of research is going to come out of this multidisciplinary research unit. Precision medicine, I think, is the future of medicine. And with this in mind, a center of precision medicine has already been established at AIIMS Bhopal. Dr. Bhavna Dhingra, who was accompanying Madam, I'm very happy to say, has brought a center of excellence for rare diseases at AIIMS Bhopal. A total fund of 5 crores have been received. And this is running in the Department of Pediatrics. And again, I think it is going to help not only the patients, but also improve the research output of the institution. I think in today's world, no institution can grow in silos. You need to have collaborations. And in this direction, our executive director, sir, has taken immense steps. I'm very happy to say that as of today, we have 43 functional MOUs with different institutions. And these institutions range from state institutions like IIT Indore, IIM Indore, Manit Bhopal, and other institutions of repute. And I think as the collaboration becomes more thicker, a lot of results are going to come out of it. This I was telling, sir, intramural grants as a seed money to do basic research and small grant projects has been initiated. This is given to the faculty as well as the students on competitive basis. And I think this is a wonderful initiative. You know how to put in a grant application, and in the future you can actually apply for an extramural funding based on the pilot results that you have got. And if you look at the numbers on the right, this number has been gradually increasing. We started this in 2022. In 2024, we will be giving 77 intramural grants to our faculty and students. Last but not the least, the research-related processes have been streamlined. The research office has completely moved on to an e-office. We have a research-oriented procurement committee so that procurements related to research can be done easily. SOPs have been further fine-tuned, and there is a lot of delegation of financial powers to the PIs so that they can do a lot of procurement on their own. So what are the outcomes that we are looking at based on the things that we have done? If you look at the extramural projects, as of today, a total of 277 extramural projects have been granted to AIIMS Bhopal since inception. And this is a huge fund of 180 crore rupees. And I think any institution needs to be proud of that. If you look at the scope of the projects, they continue from traditional projects like cancer research, mental health, tuberculosis, regional diseases, and infectious diseases, to the more contemporary topics like artificial intelligence, medical devices, environmental health, precision medicine, and evidence synthesis. And as of today, I think every large funding agency, whether it is national or international, has funded projects for AIIMS Bhopal, and this is again a big achievement for our institution. If you look at the PubMed index publications, as of today, the total number of publications that have come out of AIIMS Bhopal stands at 1,453. This is the number for today, and I think for a young institution which is only 10 to 12 years old, I think this is a huge thing, and every faculty needs to be proud of that. And if you look at not the numbers, but if you look at the quality, we have people publishing in journals which have impact factors as high as 46.5. And I think this is again something which we need to be proud of. Intellectual property rights was something which was missing in our armamentarium. We have been trying to improve it since the last 2 or 3 years. And slowly a trickle has started. A lot of faculty have started filing patents. We already have 15 patents that have been filed, 2 have been granted, and the same is true for copyrights. This year itself, we have got 22 copyrights have been granted to various faculty members of AIIMS Bhopal. And like I said, as the research environment improves, awards and accolades follow. And a tradition has been established by the executive director, sir, that anybody who wins a prize or anyone who wins something in a conference, he is called to the director office and there is a photo session with him, which a photo they can keep for posterity. And this is a source of inspiration for the others. So I think, again, a wonderful tradition which we tend to continue in the future. And it is not only for the faculty, but also the students. And with so much of research happening, there is positive coverage of that research in the print media also. And it has resulted in improved institutional rankings. And I'm very happy to say that AIIMS Bhopal is currently in the NIRF ranking, is ranked 31, and we promise to take it forward. So what is the way forward? I think as an institution, AIIMS Bhopal is committed to its researchers. The areas that we have identified for future research is medical device development, IPR creation, multidisciplinary clinical research, and artificial intelligence-based healthcare solutions. With these words, on the behalf of the 3rd Research Showcase Committee, I once again welcome you all to the Research Showcase. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for an elaborate research report of the Institute. प्रोफेसर अजय सिंह सर, हमारे कार्यपालक निदेशक महोदय, जिनकी असीमित ऊर्जा, असाधारण नेतृत्व और व्यापक दूरदृष्टि ने हमें वहाँ लाकर खड़ा कर दिया है जहाँ से अब हम अपने ऊपर गर्व कर सकते हैं. अब मैं कार्यपालक निदेशक महोदय से उनके उद्बोधन के लिए आमंत्रित करना चाहूँगी. सर प्लीज़.
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. सबसे पहले मैं अपनी तरफ से और एम्स भोपाल के परिवार की तरफ से हमारे मंच पे आसीन हमारे जो चीफ गेस्ट हैं प्रोफेसर रतुल, मैं आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत करता हूं इस प्रांगण में। और इन्हीं के साथ मैं जो गेस्ट ऑफ ऑनर प्रोफेसर रश्मि कुमार, जो मेरी टीचर भी रही हैं, मेरी गाइड भी रही हैं HOD पीडियाट्रिक्स KGMU में, आपको अपने बीच में पाके हम लोग बहुत ही सम्मानित हैं। इसी के साथ श्री विनीत माथुर जी, आपने भी समय निकाल के इस कार्यक्रम की शोभा को बढ़ाया, उसके लिए भी मैं आपका बहुत बहुत आभारी हूँ। इसके साथ मैं पूरे एम्स भोपाल के सभी फैकल्टी मेंबर, सभी स्टूडेंट्स, सभी कर्मचारियों का और सभी कंपोनेंट्स का मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूँ। स्पेशली रिसर्च सेल, जो कि डीन रिसर्च के अंतर्गत जो है एक सफलतापूर्वक एक सफ़र तय कर रही है, उनको भी मैं अपनी तरफ से अभिनंदन देना चाहता हूँ। आपने विस्तृत रूप में देखा कि किस प्रकार से पिछले एक साल में हम लोगों ने, एम्स भोपाल ने एज टीम आगे बढ़े हम लोग, और किस प्रकार से हमने नए अचीवमेंट्स लिए। लेकिन हमें इन अचीवमेंट्स पे खुश होने की ज़रूरत है, लेकिन बैठने की आवश्यकता नहीं है। हमें और आगे काम करने के लिए आज प्रण लेना है। और शायद आज हम लोग जो ये शोकेस कर रहे हैं, जो कि हमारा 3rd रिसर्च शोकेस है, उसमें आज हम सब लोगों को ये प्रण कर लेना है कि आप जो भी हमने अचीव किया है वो हमारी रुकना नहीं चाहिए, वहाँ पे हमको आगे बढ़ना चाहिए। इसके लिए मेरा अपना व्यक्तिगत रूप से मेरी सोच है कि जो साइंस का जो डेवलपमेंट होता है वो कभी भी आइसोलेशन या वैक्यूम में नहीं होता है। उसको एक प्रॉपर एनवायरनमेंट की आवश्यकता होती है, और वो एनवायरनमेंट सिर्फ किसी एक इंस्टीट्यूशन में नहीं, पूरी सोसाइटी से और जो है वो मिलता है। तो जब हम लोग सब लोग मिलके एक किसी ऐसे साइंटिफिक काम के लिए आगे बढ़ेंगे, जिसमें चाहे वो हमारा इंस्टीट्यूट हो, इंस्टीट्यूट में हमारे फैकल्टी मेंबर्स, हमारे स्टूडेंट्स, हमारे एडमिन के लोग, और सारे लोग जब मिलके एक प्रयास करेंगे कि हम लोग एक्सीलेंस जो हमारे रिसर्च में है उसमें हमें मिले, उसके बाद ही एम्स भोपाल जो है वो वहाँ पहुँच पाएगा, जिसके लिए हम लोग उम्मीद करते हैं कि हमको पहुँचना चाहिए, और हमें पूरी कैपेबिलिटी है कि हम वहाँ तक पहुँच सकते हैं। तो इस एटमॉस्फेयर को पैदा करने का काम मैंने अपने हाथ में लिया है, और मैं लगातार कोशिश करता हूँ कि हम लोग एक टीम, जो हमारी भावना है वो बनी रहनी चाहिए। इस टीम के साथ जब हम अपने इंस्टीट्यूशन और सोसाइटी की बात करते हैं, तो मुझे कहीं लगता है कि हमारे को नेटवर्किंग की बहुत आवश्यकता है। और नेटवर्किंग का मैं पॉजिटिव वे में आपको कहना चाहता हूं कि जो अभी आपने देखा कि हम लोग मोर देन 40 प्लस हम लोग MU कर रखे हैं, और सिर्फ हमने मेडिकल इंस्टीट्यूट से नहीं किया, बेसिक साइंस के इंस्टीट्यूट से भी किया, IIT से भी किया, हमने IIM से भी किया। क्योंकि होलिस्टिक अप्रोच जब मैनेजमेंट की होती है, उसके बाद ही एक इंस्टीट्यूट जो है वो एक साथ एक कम्प्रिहेंसिव मैनर में आगे बढ़ सकता है। सिर्फ हम लोगों ने गवर्नमेंट के जो इंस्टीट्यूट्स हैं उन्हीं के साथ हाथ नहीं मिलाया, बल्कि कॉर्पोरेट जो हैं हमारे, उनके साथ भी हम लोगों ने अर्ली डायग्नोसिस और प्रिवेंशन को ध्यान में रखते हुए कई हमने MU किए। और जो MU मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि आने वाले 4 साल में, 5 साल में एक ऐसा इम्पैक्ट देंगे सोसाइटी को, जिसके लिए एम्स भोपाल या किसी भी एम्स का जो मैंडेट है वो पूरा हो सके। हम लोग यहाँ पे सिर्फ जो रिसर्च कर रहे हैं वो रिसर्च सिर्फ क्लिनिकल जो हमारे मॉडर्न मेडिसिन से संबंधित है, हम उसी के बारे में नहीं कर रहे हैं। मुझे बहुत खुशी है ये बताते हुए कि हम लोग ये रिसर्च जो कर रहे हैं इंटीग्रेटेड मेडिसिन के ऊपर भी, मतलब कि आयुष, और किस प्रकार से आयुष को हम लोग इंटीग्रेट कर सकें मॉडर्न मेडिसिन से, और किस प्रकार से हम एविडेंसेस क्रिएट कर सकें इन फेवर ऑफ ए कम्प्रिहेंसिव ट्रीटमेंट प्रोटोकॉल विच इंक्लूड्स द रोल ऑफ आयुष एज वेल एज द मॉडर्न मेडिसिन। और उसके लिए हमारे जो सभी सदस्य जो इसमें काम कर रहे हैं उनको मैं विशेष रूप से धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूं। और हमने एक नई पहल ये की है कि जो हमने अपना यूजी कैरिकुलम है उसमें हमने एआई को, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस को एक अलग सब्जेक्ट के रूप में नहीं, लेकिन उसको इंट्रोडक्शन की स्टूडेंट्स को पता होना चाहिए कि आज के ज़माने में, क्योंकि आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस एक ऐसी चीज़ है जो आने वाले समय में बहुत ज़रूरी हो जाएगा। तो आज से ही हमारे स्टूडेंट मेडिकल कैरिकुलम के माध्यम से उसमें आगे बढ़ना चाहिए। इसके लिए हमने कैरिकुलम में चेंजेस भी करने का फैसला लिया है। हमारे जो की एरियाज़ हैं वो मैं बताना चाहता हूं कि हमारे की एरियाज़ हम सिर्फ मॉलिक्यूलर बेसिस या बेसिक साइंसेज या जीनोमिक्स पे ही काम नहीं कर रहे। हम कोर जो एरियाज़ हैं वो, जैसे ट्यूबरकुलोसिस, जैसे हमारे आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने ये एक मिशन लिया है कि किस प्रकार से 2025 तक हम लोग भारत को ट्यूबरकुलोसिस मुक्त भारत बना सकें। उसके लिए हम लोगों ने अपने तरफ से कुछ प्रयास किए हैं। इसी प्रकार से एनीमिया मुक्त भारत का जो संकल्प है उस पे भी हम लोग काम कर रहे हैं। हमारा जो रेयर डिजीज सेंटर ऑफ एक्सीलेंस अभी बताया गया, उसमें सिकल सेल एनीमिया जो है वो एक्सक्लूसिव हमारे इस एरिया के लिए है। इसी प्रकार से जैसे आपको अभी बताया, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, 3D प्रिंटिंग और कैंसर बायोमार्कर्स के रूप में हम लोग कई प्रोजेक्ट्स को हम लोग ले रहे हैं और हम अपने जो रिसर्चर्स हैं उनको मोटिवेट कर रहे हैं कि आप इंटरम्यूरल के माध्यम से आप पहले अपने कंसेप्ट्स को एस्टेब्लिश करिए जिससे कि एक्स्ट्राम्यूरल ग्रांट्स आपको मिल पाएँ। और बहुत मुझे खुशी है कि हमारे यहाँ पे जो एनवायरमेंटल प्रॉब्लम्स हैं उसका मेडिकल ट्रीटमेंट पे और हेल्थ पे कितना असर पड़ता है, उसके लिए हमको एमपी पॉल्यूशन बोर्ड और यूपी पॉल्यूशन बोर्ड के साथ हमारे 4 प्रोजेक्ट्स चल रहे हैं जो अपने आप में एक नई चीज़ हैं। और ये भी बताते हुए मुझे खुशी है कि कल ही हम लोगों ने एक पॉलीमैथ सोसाइटी के साथ हमने एमयू किया है जो कि फूड अडल्ट्रेशन और उसका इफेक्ट जो मेडिकल जो हेल्थ पे पड़ता है किसी भी ह्यूमन के, और किस प्रकार से एनवायरनमेंट इंक्लूडिंग वाटर और एयर उसका इफेक्ट क्या पड़ता है, उस पर हम लोगों ने रिसर्च के लिए कल ही एक सिग्नेचर किया है। और आज सुबह जब हमारे प्रोफेसर अतुल से बात हो रही थी कि प्रिवेंशन की बात नहीं करते, तो मैं उनको एश्योर करता हूं कि हम लोग प्रिवेंशन के ऊपर विशेष ध्यान रखेंगे और हम कोशिश करेंगे कि हम ट्रीटमेंट के साथ साथ प्रिवेंशन के ऊपर नई नई चीज़ों को निकाल सकें और उसको हम अपने प्रोटोकॉल्स में अपना सकें। जैसे किसी ने कहा है कि इट टेक्स ए विलेज टू रेज ए चाइल्ड। बच्चे का जो बढ़ता है बच्चा, उसको अकेले किसी एक आदमी का जिम्मेदारी नहीं है, सभी लोगों की मिलकर जिम्मेदारी है। इसी प्रकार हमारे जो यंग रिसर्चर सामने बैठे हैं, हमारी यंग फैकल्टी जो सामने बैठी है, उनको एक प्रॉपर एनवायरनमेंट देने की जिम्मेदारी एडमिन की है और मैं उसके लिए पूरा सजग हूं और पूरी कोशिश मैं कर रहा हूं। इसके लिए आज हम लोगों की डिस्कशन हुआ कि किस प्रकार से मेंटर मेंटी का एक कंसेप्ट हमको रिसर्च में भी पैदा करना चाहिए और नेक्स्ट टाइम जब हम मिलेंगे तो हम लोग मेंटर मेंटी जो कंसेप्ट है वो रिसर्च में भी लेके आएंगे। इसी के साथ मैं आप सभी लोगों का जो इस सभागार में उपस्थित हैं, आज के कार्यक्रम को सफल बनाने के लिए आप यहाँ पे जो आए हैं, उन सबको मेरी तरफ से बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद और शुभकामनाएं। धन्यवाद।
Thank you very much, sir, for your motivational words and a mantra of Ruk Jana Nahi. It is my privilege to invite President AIIMS Bhopal, Dr. Sunil Malik, sir, a renowned neurologist with a vast knowledge in the field and a humble and dynamic administrator. I kindly request him for his address.
Chief guest for today's program, our most revered Director General of Health Services, Union of India, Professor Atul Goyal ji. Our guest of honor, Professor Rashmi Kumar, Shri Vineet Mathur, our very own Executive Director, AIIMS Bhopal, Professor Ajay Singh ji, Dean Academic, Professor Rajneesh Joshi, Dean Research, Professor Rehan, our other deans, Medical Superintendent, Associate Deans, and my dear students, my greetings to you all. It is indeed a privilege being a part of this phenomenal annual event, the Research Showcase event, which is indeed a celebration of intellectual curiosity, scientific rigor, and the unwavering dedication of our researchers. The figures enlisted by Professor Rehan, they speak for themselves. I wish to congratulate our Executive Director, Professor Ajay Singh, the entire team of the Research Cell AIIMS Bhopal for the dedication in fostering research in our institute. Now, when it comes to research, there is a quote which comes to my mind. It's a very straightforward one, but it depicts the importance and meaning. It's a quote by Galileo Galilei. I quote, "All truths are easy to understand once they are discovered. The point is to discover them," unquote. In still simpler terms, there's a quote by Neil Armstrong. He once quoted, "Research is creating new knowledge." That's it. Now, coming to the importance of research in our context, I would like to deviate from the core topic. A lot of recalibration of priority areas has taken place in the last few years all over the world and in our country as well, especially after the COVID pandemic. The policy all around, in all spheres, is to put in very plain terms, people first policy. Now, putting things straight, research is most relevant in a country like ours when it is tailored to our requirements and to our existing deficiencies. That is to say, research priorities, they are to coincide with the national health priorities, be it control and management of communicable diseases, control of nutritional disorders, fertility control, alternative strategies for healthcare delivery, environmental and occupational health problems, research on major non-communicable diseases like cancer, diabetes, cardiac ailments, and of course, stroke, which is the major cause of mortality and morbidity in our country. Ours is a very big country with vast differences in geography, demographic, and socio-economic structures, and consequently, the landscape of health systems in our country are very diverse. We need to come up with indigenously designed evidence-based practices and at the same time staying abreast of the best practices adopted by various countries worldwide. In the last few years, we have taken giant leaps in capacity building, infrastructure, and now in training in the form of revision of the entire medical curriculum to focus more on competence-based training to enable the providers to become patient-centric, gender-sensitive, and outcome and context-oriented. Our human resources, they have been augmented. The government initiatives for the pharmaceutical industry and promotion of the domestic manufacturing of medical devices, they have started to show dividends. An example in front of us are quality generic medicines which are available at affordable prices in our country now. We need to focus on research and discovery of new molecules, promotion of different therapy areas, and vaccines and emerging technologies using AI. We need more research besides, of course, the equipment and the infrastructure to ensure the delivery of healthcare services and universal health coverage. With this, I would like to end my talk, and I would like to extend my deep appreciation and gratitude to our country's Director General of Health Services, Professor Atul Goyal ji, who has been a source of inspiration for physicians and budding doctors from all over the country. I would like to share a quote. "Medicine is not only a science, it is also an art. It does not consist of compounding pills and plasters. It deals with the very processes of life, which must be understood before they may be guided." And one last one, which I feel is very, very relevant in our Indian context. Wherever the art of medicine is loved, there is also a love of humanity. With this, I end my talk. Thank you very much. I wish you all the best. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you very much, sir, for your appreciation and encouragement. our organization's success is driven by a persistent dedication of each and every member of AIIMS Bhopal under the able guidance of Professor Dr. Ajay Singh. Today, we celebrate our standout students and faculties who have excelled in healthcare research. We introduced research awards last year to recognize the best research work conducted by UGs, PGs, doctoral students, and faculties of AIIMS Bhopal. All submitted research studies conducted are reviewed by a jury members, which consists of senior professors, deans, and retired members of institutes. They vigorously scrutinize the applications. Competitive review is conducted for their research potential and translational outcomes. And based on that, best research studies are selected for awards. This evaluation and selection process is completely blinded and totally unbiased. Today, we would also want to acknowledge all students who participated in this competition enthusiastically. It is not about winning, but the spirit of participation, giving your best and then constantly improving. Let us celebrate each other's achievements and brighten the path of with unparalleled contribution. To conduct Best Research Paper Awards proceedings in the students category, I invite Gunjan Chokse to take over from here.
Thank you, ma'am. As I announce your names, I request all the awardees to come forward to the stage to receive your medals, certificates, and check. I also request all the dignitaries to please come on the stage in front. The first category is the Best Paper Award among postgraduate and undergraduate students who were awarded intramural projects in 2022 and have published their papers. A total of 3 applications were received in this award category, and the award goes to Ms. Shrutangi Vaidya. The second category is Best Thesis Award. A total number of 15 applications were received for the Best Thesis Award in MD/MS category. Dr. Smriti Bhaskar from Community and Family Medicine Department has won the award. For Best Thesis Award in DM/MCH category, 3 applications were received. Dr. Kirti Kadian from Department of Pulmonary Medicine has won the award. A total of 6 applications were received for the Best Thesis Award in MSc Nursing category. Ms. Ranjita Ravi has won the award. On her behalf, Dr. Ranjana Verma will receive her award. The third category of awards is Best Paper Award for PhD students, which goes to Dr. Himadri Singh from the Department of Biochemistry. Please give a big hand to Dr. Himadri. The fourth category is a certificate of appreciation for the students who have received short-term studentship grant from ICMR. Please give a warm welcome as I call upon the names. Nishtha Bansal, Soumya Shukla, Apsha Anjum Khan, Khushi Meghani, Jitesh Patil. His award will be collected by Khushi Meghani. He could not come here today. Anurag Singh Tomar. Please give a huge round of applause to all the winners. Shivang Saxena and Vineet Lohkare could not attend today's program, and their awards will also be received by Anurag Singh Tomar. Let us continue to give them a huge round of applause. And last, Ananyan Sampath. It is our way of saying we see your efforts, we value your dedication, and we celebrate your achievement. Please give a huge round of applause to all the winners. The last category is Certificate of Appreciation for the students who have received ICMR PG Thesis Grant. Please put your hands together as I call upon the winners. Dr. Kavita RV from the Department of CFM. Dr. Ria Rose Jojo from Department of Anesthesiology. Dr. Jyoti Raut from Department of CFM. Dr. Karmogil T from the Department of Biochemistry. Dr. Suparna Mishra from Department of CFM. And Dr. Agnishika Chaudhary could not be present here today with us. Her award will also be collected by Dr. Suparna Mishra. May I now request all the awardees to join the dignitaries for a group photograph. Let us take this moment to celebrate not just the achievement of our awardees, but also the journey that brought them here. And it may serve as a beacon for all of us to reach our potential. A big round of applause for all the awardees. Thank you, respected dignitaries.
Congratulations to all award winners. Professor Dr. Rashmi Kumar, eminent clinician and scientist, former head, Department of Pediatrics, KGMU, Director, Child Health Community Empowerment, Lab Consultant, Pediatrics Neurology, Lucknow. She has more than 100 high-impact publications and has featured on Stanford University list of top 2% scientists globally. She is an inspiration, a role model for all of us. We are grateful for her gracious presence and valuable time. I kindly invite Professor Rashmi Kumar for her brief, insightful perspective on research, her experiences, and her guidance.
मैम एक 55 स्लाइड है वही है ना
Is it okay now? तो स्लाइड शो चलाइए इसमें कैसे होगा हेलो स्लाइड शो so it's Okay, so a very good afternoon to all of you here. Uh, it's an emotional moment for me to be here today because I'm sure a lot of the faculty here and other people also may remember me that I used to be quite a familiar face on this campus about 10 years ago. So, and I'm really very pleased to see the way it is coming up, how AIIMS Bhopal is actually fulfilling the mandate that was set out by the government so long ago. So I'm just giving you a few thoughts of mine on research in medical colleges and institutions. So research actually is important because of, it's a kind of intellectual development. It teaches the student critical thinking, encourages originality. It encourages self-evaluation and audit. So somebody who's doing something, they should be able to audit what they have, what kind of services they are giving, what kind of patients they are coming with. So, and it also helps you to develop skills of oral and written expression, develop the ability to work independently and also in a team. It develops transdisciplinary thinking. And most of all, I think it also helps us grow as clinicians. So it improves us as clinicians when you're looking so deeply at a particular problem. You're bound to be more astute in um, actually um, becoming more astute clinicians as well. So clinical epidemiology was new. So this is all, this branch of medicine, clinical epidemiology. This is a new basic science born in the 1970s in North America. And it deals with making valid, accurate conclusions based on strong scientific methods from one's own clinical observations or on studies in groups of patients. So there's a difference between laboratory and clinical research. In laboratory research, you can control a lot of factors, whereas studies on human beings are not so easy. Because the participants of a study, they tend to do exactly what they want to. So they may not really follow your advice, they may not actually comply with whatever you want them to do. Then outcomes such as feelings, comforts, pain, performance, etc., are difficult to measure. So you have to you have to have unique tools to measure such things. And many outcomes take years. So then it becomes, it's not feasible to continue the study for so many years. And ethics of research on humans poses restrictions. So clinical research is a different ballgame. And research, however, research questions about human health can only ultimately be answered by research on humans. So this is, so we'll talk about clinical research. It allows a clinician to translate clinical impressions into hard evidence, to self-audit and report clinical data according to the rules of modern research, to design and conduct their own studies, to critically appraise research. So only if you know the basics of clinical research, you'll be able to appraise research and clinical data and improve professional understanding for the advancement of science. So there's a lot to be said for clinical research. You can have, and this you can do without very many inputs. Laboratory research is much more expensive. So because you're doing something, which is technology-based, it's more technology-based. Whereas clinical research, you've got the patients. That's what is the most important thing. And um, you can do a lot with it. If you've got the right number of patients and you know the principles of doing the research, then you can get very, very meaningful outcomes. So research in medical colleges and AIIMS. Here, you are in the environment when patients are teachers. Residents or students even may notice a particular pattern, you know. So, and then, then the thing is not just to notice it, you have to document it. So if you can document a pattern, then, and you can try and identify gaps and barriers in healthcare. That would be the foundation of our research. And local problems should be the focus. So it's, like our Prime Minister says, go vocal for local. So even in the research, it's very important to focus on local problems, because who else will do that work? No one else is going to come from abroad and do this work for us. So we need to look at our own problems and find solutions. So there are kind of research strategies that are followed. They're not very difficult to understand or follow them. So there are observational studies, like descriptive, case reports, case series, and cross-sectional studies and surveys. And then you have analytical studies, which are usually about etiology. And they include the case control studies, and a further higher level of evidence is the cohort studies. And then there are experiments, which are the randomized control trials. So actually the first group, the descriptive studies, are hypothesis generating studies. And the second group, the analytical ones, are hypothesis testing studies. And the scientific rigor actually increases as you go down. So this is also a pyramid showing the same thing. And so the classification of clinical research, you can, first ask yourself, did the investigator assign exposures? So exposures, if it is yes, then it's an experimental study. And if it's no, then it's an observational study. Then, if it is an experimental study, then random allocation, yes, means it's a randomized controlled trial. And non-randomized controlled trials can also be there. So, but it is a trial. Whereas if there are no assigned exposures, you have observational studies, and then you ask whether there is a comparison group. So if there is a comparison group, then it's an analytical study. And if there is no comparison group, then it's a descriptive study. And then you ask, what is the direction? So is it the exposure which came first? This happens in a cohort study. Then you have exposure the outcome coming first, and then you're going back to look at the exposure. This is case control. And exposure and outcome at the same time, that they are being measured together. So this is cross-sectional. So you have these types of studies. You also have you have other types of studies which are important. They're gaining importance these days. One is the quality improvement. So quality improvement, you can look at your own ward, or you can look at your own OPD and see what are the problems, what are the logistic problems that are affecting your outcomes. And then, you identify the problem, you analyze, test the changes, and then show whether it's a sustainable improvement. Diagnostic test evaluation, this is also a type of cross-sectional study actually. Then clinical prediction rules. Now this I think I want to talk about in 2 minutes. This is, what do we mean by clinical prediction rules? For example, we had streptococcal sore throat, and this is associated with later rheumatic fever and rheumatic heart disease. So this was an important problem. WHO, World Health Organization, conducted a study and they found that there were two signs. One is exudates or pus points on the tonsils, and the second one was tender lymph nodes in the neck. So if these signs were present, then there's a higher risk of it being a streptococcal sore throat, which needs to be treated more aggressively. So there is a difference in the management. So this is one of the studies that WHO did. On my own, in our own wards and in our own patients, we developed similar tools for Japanese encephalitis, tuberculous meningitis, and the latest is scrub typhus meningoencephalitis. So what happens is, you have these patients presenting somewhat similarly. They all have fever, they all have altered sensorium, convulsions, etc. Now you look at them more closely and you also do the diagnostic testing on them. And those ones which are scrub typhus meningoencephalitis, they have some, they have some features which distinguish them from the other similarly presenting CNS infections. So clinical prediction rule, so it does help you. Why does it help you? Because first of all, the laboratory test for scrub typhus may not be available everywhere. So if you go to a peripheral health center, you have these patients, but you don't know, you don't have the test available. So without using the test, you can reach the diagnosis, or you can have a higher suspicion for that diagnosis. And secondly, it's like being more, a cheaper way of doing things. You don't, because you don't have the test available everywhere, so you can, you can make the diagnosis or suspect the diagnosis even without the test. And this is more useful for peripheral places where all the tests, etc., are not available. And the treatment, the treatment of scrub typhus meningoencephalitis is different from the other kinds of CNS infections. So that's what, then there's something like implementation research and qualitative research. So there are all types of, so what kind of research questions can you have? Whether there is normality, is the patient sick or well? How accurate are the diagnostic tests? So this, you want to assess or evaluate a diagnostic test. Frequency, how often does the disease occur? Then who does the disease affect? Who, when, and where? So does it occur only in a particular part of the country, or it goes elsewhere, or it's more widespread? Then risk, what factors are associated with an increased likelihood of disease? So these are risk factors for disease. So we know now that it's a multi-factorial etiology of disease. So is this also a risk factor? Cause, what causes disease? What are the pathogenetic mechanisms of disease? Prognosis, what are the factors affecting outcome of a disease? Treatment, how do two treatments compare? Prevention, does intervention on people without disease keep disease from arising? Does any detection or treatment improve the course of illness? So all these are the types of research questions one could easily ask while you're working in a ward or in an OPD setting. And so it's, like FINER. FINER is an acronym: feasible, interesting, novel, ethical, and relevant. So if you have a research question which has all these things, then it's a good and doable research question. And also try to answer the question, so what? Because if your research is telling you something, but it's not really translating into a different practice, then it's not so useful. So you should ask yourself, suppose this happens, if this is going to be the cause of the problem, how is it going to change my management? Is it going to change management at all? So what? The so what question is done. So that's the last slide. So hypothesis is also closely related to the research question, but it's not quite the same. It's a statement of belief that can be confirmed or refuted. It's made at a higher and more abstract level, often stated in the null form. For example, not all swans are white. This is a refutable statement because even if you see one black swan, then this statement doesn't hold true. And it contains the statement to be refuted plus a framework in which it is expected to hold. So it's important for sample size calculation. So hypothesis is also a way of putting forward your research question from the point of view of a statistician. So that's all I was going to talk about. Thank you very much. And once again, I want to thank Dr. Ajay Singh for having me here. It's, it's something that I really was looking forward to. Thank you very much. Can I just take this out?
Thank you very much, ma'am, for such a lucid presentation. Taking the ceremony further forwards, we would have an award ceremony waiting again. एम्स भोपाल में परिश्रम को सराहना मिलती है और उपलब्धियां भविष्य के ऊंचे लक्ष्यों की दिशा तय करती हैं। आइए पुरस्कारों की श्रृंखला को आगे बढ़ाते हुए अब हम संकाय सदस्यों को सम्मानित करना चाहेंगे। इन प्रतिष्ठित पुरस्कारों के लिए कड़ी प्रतिस्पर्धा के बीच एक सम्मानित जूरी ने श्रेष्ठ में से सर्वश्रेष्ठ का चयन किया है। मैं डॉक्टर जय को इन नामों को प्रस्तुत करने के लिए आमंत्रित करूंगी। साथ ही मंचासीन अतिथियों से आग्रह है कि वे मंच पर आगे आएं और पुरस्कार प्रदान करें।
A very good evening to everyone. We now proceed to the faculty awards. We have received a total of 64 applications across various subcategories of faculty awards, including Best Paper Award, Best Intramural Paper Award, and Intellectual Property Right Award. I request all the awardees to come forward to receive the award as I call their names. So coming on to the first category of award, which is the Best Paper Award in Preclinical Subject. For this category, we have two awardees. Professor Ashok Kumar, Department of Biochemistry, for his work on miRNA in oral cancers. I request Professor Jagat Kamar sir to receive award on his behalf. Next, Best Paper Award goes to Dr. Sukhesh Mukherjee. Next Best Paper Award goes to Dr. Sukhesh Mukherjee, Department of Biochemistry. A very big round of applause for both of them for their commitments and determination towards research. The next category of award is Best Paper Award in Paraclinical Subjects. For this, the Best Paper Award goes to Dr. Devasis Biswas, Department of Microbiology, for his work on dengue. The second award in this category goes to Dr. Ayush Gupta, Department of Microbiology. I request audience to keep applauding for the awardees in recognition for encouragement and appreciation. The next is the medical award subcategory. The best paper in this award is awarded to Dr. SRNAN Bhushanam Padala, Department of Anesthesiology. The second award in this category goes to Dr. Saikat Das, Department of Radiation Oncology. I request audience to keep applauding for awardees for their hard work and unwavering determination towards research. The next faculty award is for surgical category. The best paper award in this category is awarded to Dr. Gunjan Choksi, Department of Dentistry. The second award in this category goes to Dr. Prateek Behra, Department of Orthopedics. A big round of appreciation for their commitments towards research. Now proceeding to the faculty awards in medical super specialty. The best paper award goes to Dr. Girish Chandra Bhatt, Department of Pediatric Nephrology. The second award in this category goes to Dr. Mahendra Atlani, Department of Nephrology. The next faculty award is for surgical super specialty category. The best paper in this category is awarded to Dr. Kumar Madhavan, Department of Urology. Now for the faculty award in Ayush category, the best paper award goes to Dr. Ashish Kumar Dikshit from Ayush. For the faculty award in nursing category, the best paper is awarded to Dr. Nasima Shafkat. I request Dr. Lily Podar to receive award on her behalf. Now proceeding to awards for systematic review, meta-analysis and narrative review category. The best paper in this category is awarded to two candidates, Dr. Abhinav Singh, Department of Dentistry. I request Dr. Abhishek Purohit to receive award on his behalf. And the next best paper in this category is awarded to Dr. Neha Arya, Department of Translational Medicine. Now proceeding to the next category of awards, which is the Best Paper Award Intramural category. This is awarded to Dr. Ayush Gupta from Department of Microbiology. Congratulations and big round of applause for him. The next category is awards for IPR, that is the Intellectual Property Right Awards. In this category, the Appreciation Award for Indian Patent granted goes to Dr. Anshul Rai, Department of Dentistry. And for the Registered Copyrights Appreciation Award, it is also granted to Dr. Anshul Rai, Department of Dentistry. Dr. Abhinav Singh, Department of Dentistry. I request Dr. Abhishek Purohit to receive award on his behalf. Dr. Babu Lal Soni, Department of Trauma and Emergency. Dr. Lily Podar from Nursing. Dr. Lily Poddar from Nursing. So I now request awardees to come in front of the dais for a group photograph with the dignitaries. The faculty awards are appreciation of integrity, determination, and unwavering dedication of our faculty. Many congratulations and big round of applause to the awardees.
कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशंस। अतिथियों से निवेदन है कि वो कृपया मंच के सामने ही बने रहें। जी, आज के इस विशेष अवसर को और अधिक यादगार बनाने के लिए डाक विभाग द्वारा जारी एम्स भोपाल के कौटिल्य भवन के उद्घाटन की स्मृति में एक विशेष आवरण का विमोचन किया जाएगा। मैं मध्य प्रदेश के चीफ पोस्ट मास्टर जनरल श्री विनीत माथुर सर और माननीय विशिष्ट अतिथि और मुख्य अतिथि महोदय से निवेदन करूंगी कि वे इसे विमोचित करने का विमोचित करें। यह हमारे लिए अत्यंत गर्व और हर्ष का विषय है कि इस भवन का उद्घाटन हमारे प्रधानमंत्री माननीय श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी के कर कमलों से हुआ है और डाक विभाग ने विशेष आवरण जारी कर इसे अविस्मरणीय बना दिया है। धन्यवाद सर। अभी आपसे अतिथियों से अगेन अनुरोध है कि कृपया मंच के सामने बने रहें। एक श्रृंखला है विमोचन की जो हम आगे बढ़ाएंगे। सभी अतिथियों से निवेदन है कि वे शोध स्मारिका 2024 का विमोचन करें। साथ ही स्मारिका समिति से डॉक्टर सैकत दास और डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह से आग्रह है कि वो इसके लिए मंच पर आ जाएं। यह स्मारिका अपनी तरह की एक अनोखी पहल है जो संस्थान में उपलब्ध कुछ विशिष्ट शोध सुविधाओं और शोध गतिविधियों का सार प्रस्तुत करती है, जिसमें स्नातक, स्नातकोत्तर और संकाय शोध कार्य शामिल हैं। इसमें पिछले एक वर्ष में प्राप्त शोध अनुदान, शोध सुविधाएं, प्रकाशनों और पेटेंट्स के रूप में जानकारी दी गई है और उपलब्धियों को भी शामिल किया गया है। यह स्मारिका समावेशी स्वास्थ्य देखभाल के लिए स्वदेशी किफ़ायती तकनीकों के विकास के माध्यम से राष्ट्र निर्माण के प्रति संस्थान की प्रतिबद्धता को रेखांकित करती है। कृपया तालियों से स्वागत करें। अब मैं फ्यूचर हेल्थ, जो कि एम्स भोपाल की आधिकारिक शोध पत्रिका है, के नवीनतम अंक के विमोचन के लिए उसके मुख्य संपादक डॉक्टर आदेश श्रीवास्तव, कार्यकारी संपादक डॉक्टर समरेंद्र खारकुर और प्रबंध संपादक डॉक्टर नेहा आर्या को मंच पर आमंत्रित करती हूँ। फ्यूचर हेल्थ का पहला अंक शोध प्रदर्शनी 2023 में यही विमोचित किया गया था। इस वर्तमान अंक में कुल 15 लेख शामिल हैं, जिनमें मूल शोध लेख, समीक्षा लेख, संक्षिप्त संवाद, केस रिपोर्ट्स और संपादक को पत्र शामिल है। फ्यूचर हेल्थ पत्रिका का अगला अंक एक विशेष विषय पर आधारित होगा जो कार्डियो मेटाबॉलिक बीमारियों पर केंद्रित है और जनवरी 2025 में प्रदर्शित किया जाएगा। कृपया तालियों की गड़गड़ाहट कम ना होने दें। विमोचन की इस श्रृंखला में अब एक पुस्तक शीर्षक डायग्नोस्टिक, प्रोग्नोस्टिक एंड थेराप्यूटिक रोल ऑफ माइक्रो आरएनएज इन हेड एंड नेक कैंसर के विमोचन करने का आग्रह मैं अतिथियों से करूंगी। साथ ही मैं डॉक्टर नेहा को इसके लिए मंच पर आमंत्रित करूंगी। इस पुस्तक का संपादन प्रोफेसर अशोक कुमार, डॉक्टर नेहा आर्या, डॉक्टर शिखा तिवारी और डॉक्टर राजू खान ने किया है। इसके प्रकाशक एकेडमिक प्रेस एल्सेवियर हैं। यह पुस्तक सिर और गर्दन के कैंसर के लिए mRNA आधारित निदान, रोग का पूर्वानुमान और उपचारात्मक अवसरों पर विस्तृत जानकारी प्रदान करती है। इसमें HNBSCC के लिए माइक्रो आरएनए आधारित पॉइंट ऑफ केयर डायग्नोस्टिक्स और ड्रग डिलीवरी सिस्टम के साथ साथ HNSCC रोगियों के लिए माइक्रो आरएनए के क्लिनिकल ट्रायल्स के बारे में भी दृष्टिकोण शामिल है। पुस्तक के संपादकों को बहुत बहुत बधाई। अगली पुस्तक क्लिनिकल लैबोरेटरी मैनेजमेंट के विमोचन के लिए मैं इसके लेखक डॉक्टर शक्ति कुमार यादव को मंच पर आमंत्रित करती हूँ। इस पुस्तक का संपादन डॉक्टर शक्ति कुमार यादव, डॉक्टर रुचिका गुप्ता, डॉक्टर सोमपाल सिंह ने किया है और इसके प्रकाशक स्प्रिंगर पब्लिकेशंस हैं। यह पुस्तक 10 खंडों में विभाजित 50 अध्यायों के माध्यम से क्लिनिकल लैबोरेटरी मैनेजमेंट पर एक व्यापक लेकिन संक्षिप्त मार्गदर्शिका प्रदान करती है। इसमें मानव संसाधन प्रबंधन, गुणवत्ता नियंत्रण, सुरक्षा जैसे प्रमुख पहलुओं को कवर किया गया है। पुस्तक के लेखकों को बहुत बहुत बधाई। आप सब की तालियां उनको यह इंगित करेंगी कि ये एक बहुत बड़ी उपलब्धि है। सभी अतिथियों को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। आपसे अनुरोध है कि कृपया अपना स्थान ग्रहण करें।
Now we request today's function's chief guest, Professor Dr. Atul Goyal, DGHS, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India.
A very good evening to all of you. Colleagues and dignitaries on the dais, well, colleagues and dignitaries in the audience, faculty of AIIMS, resident of AIIMS, students. This is my second visit to AIIMS. Otherwise, I've been very closely associated with AIIMS Bhopal at a variety of forums, including the selection committee. It's nice to see an institution grow, and it's always good to be back here. I generally don't attend an event with a structured talk. I generally pick up the threads from what has been spoken or some thoughts of my own. And essentially, I am a clinician, a teacher of internal medicine for over 35 years. And I had a very, a habit which my residents used to hate in the beginning, but they used to love in the end. Whenever I was taking a round in the wards, you see, the tendency is the resident would give you a diagnosis. A differential diagnosis, aajkal differential diagnosis khatam ho gaya hai. You generally get a diagnosis, this is a patient of pulmonary embolism. So my first response used to be that I would say, no, it is not pulmonary embolism. This was not because I wanted to discourage the resident or I wanted to refute his diagnosis. It was essentially to encourage thinking that you have to talk about differential diagnosis. You have to keep your mind open, which is so important when you are dealing with a subject like medicine, and which is also very important when you are dealing with innovation and research. So some of the things that I may say here should not be looked upon as criticism, but it should be looked upon as a constructive, not exactly criticism, but analysis of what has been going on. While no doubt Dr. Ajay Singh deserves a lot of accolades for the growth of the institute, but I'm sure he also realizes that it couldn't have been possible without the support from AIIMS family. So the entire AIIMS family deserves those accolades, and I think you can give yourself a big hand. But please remember, as it was mentioned, milestones are just milestones in a never-ending journey of learning. And learning actually is a never-ending journey. So is research. It's a never-ending journey. So don't be proud of milestones. Just be happy with the milestones and move on. That's the journey of life also. Yes, young minds need to be nurtured. Nurtured in terms of innovation, research, but I look at that nurturing in a different way. Young minds are also going to be future parents. Why I say this now? You see, parents are the first teachers to their children. And actually, innovation needs to be encouraged in a newborn child as he starts going to a play school or a school. We generally put the children into structured learning from the very beginning, and that actually destroys innovation. Yes, structured learning is important, but at the same time, innovative thinking should not be discouraged or should not be questioned. And this new generation is going to lead the country. So innovation has to be encouraged, answering questions has to be encouraged, questioning teachers has to be encouraged. And in a medical college, questioning teachers becomes extremely important. At times as teachers, we shut up questions in the class. Please don't do that. Encourage them and answer them. If you don't find answers, don't hesitate to say you don't know the answer. You'll find out and come back. The questions need to be answered. And I was getting lost in the numbers of extramural grants, the numbers of intramural grants, the numbers of research publications, which was from 1,453. Sometimes we get lost in numbers. And to that mind, India will never be short of numbers. We are the most populous country in the world. So we will ultimately probably perform the most number of transplants also. But should we be happy about it? So sometimes numbers, cover up the quality. So the quality has to be maintained. It's not just numbers alone. The quality of research has to be maintained. Then I think somebody talked about precision medicine. I think there was a paper on precision medicine. Is it not contradictory to have guidelines-based treatment? On the one hand, we are talking of precision medicine, which means medicine has to be individualized. On the other hand, we are saying that treatment should be according to guidelines. This is contradictory from my side. So I would like to tell the young faculty and the residents, guidelines are always mere guidelines. Analyze your patient and see if the guidelines can be just applied to it blindly. No, it's not. It's not true. Every individual is different when it comes to response to disease, when it comes to response to medicine, when it comes to respond to systems of medicines. Some people respond better to homeopathy. Some people do respond better to Ayush. So just don't say that modern medicine is the ultimate thing. We are at crossroads. Modern medicine is at crossroads. I'll discuss why later on. Yes, collaborations are no doubt extremely important. I'm happy to note, Dr. Ajay, about your plus 40 collaborations, but there is a downside about collaborations that I'll talk a little later. 180 crore that you spend on your research is a huge amount for a country like India. So it needs to be analyzed. How much of that research goes on to benefit the patient on the ground? That research is not meant only for the purpose of H-index or growth of CVs. Unless it translates to helping the patient on the ground, it probably becomes useless. So I think somewhere an audit has to be done about the money spent on research and the outcome of it. I would love to see your journal grow into a journal where foreigners want to publish. It should become indexed, and rather than we getting happy in publishing in Lancets and Natures of the World, they should be happy publishing in our journal. So I would like that journal to grow in that way. Ayush was mentioned. Let me tell you, Ayush has an extremely important role in times to come. And why I say so? Modern healthcare is making healthcare extremely expensive. And India as a country cannot afford that expensive healthcare. That's why Ayush will have more and more role to play. And the more you research in terms of Ayush and its importance would be extremely important for the country as well as the world, not just for India. An example is United States spends about 16% of its GDP on healthcare. India is often criticized that it spends just about 2.5%. I don't think India needs to increase its expenditure. I think the world needs to decrease it. So to that extent, Ayush will play a very important role. A small word of caution you mentioned about AI. AI was never meant to control us. It was only meant to assist us. Please see to it that it plays its role. I don't think it has a role when you talk of precision medicine. It doesn't have a role when you talk of intelligence. It's after all artificial intelligence. It is based on what information you give it. So limit the role of AI. Don't be too happy about its future in medicine. Because somebody mentioned that medicine is an art. I think Dr. Sunil mentioned. Yes, medicine is an art. You may have AI making extremely beautiful art pictures. You must have seen on ChatGPT, on other things, when you feed in, you get extremely beautiful pictures. Can it replicate nature? Can it even come somewhere near nature? The sceneries, the pictures that nature produces, the colors that nature produces, would AI even come close to it? I don't think so. Then you talked about food adulteration. It's an extremely important topic. However, more than adulteration, it's the natural additives to food, the so-called class 2 preservatives, the so-called colors. Have they been ever analyzed in terms of their health effects? So probably going into adulteration, more important is the permitted colors and permitted preservatives that needs to be looked into. Also, a discussion was made on research priorities, which is extremely important. Research priorities of India should be completely different from the research priorities of the West. We had conducted a blood transfusion camp in Hindu College in Delhi. I think, Dr. Ajay, you must be familiar with Hindu College. It's one of the best colleges in Delhi, with population, with students coming from good households. And during that transfusion camp, we found out 40% of youth to be anemic. So we are talking of anemia mukt Bharat, but for that we need to analyze why should 40% of youth in a good college of Delhi suffer from anemia, that they were not able to transfuse blood. So research really wants to go into these subjects. And we said we are a large country. That's an understatement. I give you one example. The entire population of Denmark is 75 lakhs, which is 50% of the population of the district Nasik in our country. So India is a collection of countries. So extrapolating what goes on in the West, in these smaller countries, and trying to put those models into India is never going to work. We have to do much more than that. We are doing so much research. It's a pity that after so many years of research, India lacks its own data in terms of disease incidence and prevalence. Every time you write a thesis in any subject, you say we have shortage, we have no data available from India. Have you ever thought why is it so? One of the reasons is that data collected in India is not shared. You know, we sit on our data and guard it like cobras. हम अपना data किसी के साथ share करना ही नहीं चाहते. Whether you talk of ICMR, whether you talk of NCDC that I look after, whether I talk of institutions across the country, I think if the data can be combined, we'll reach somewhere. So जब आप collaborations की बात कर रहे थे, collaborations have to go much beyond these collaborations. Sharing of data becomes extremely important, otherwise it's a problem. Then coming to research further, despite research, most of the guidelines that we follow are from the West. We just, agar hamare paas Indian guidelines hain bhi, we just copy and paste and we say we have made Indian guidelines. I think institutions like AIIMS, if they are doing research, have to go into basic research to try and establish Indian guidelines, not adapt the Western guidelines. Today another, very interesting tool is available, ChatGPT. इंडिया में जितनी थीसिस लिखी जाती हैं 75% are written by the ChatGPT. What do we talk of innovation and research? And same is about the articles. So I think you have to have some mechanism where you check on that as well before you start awarding them. There is an interesting book. It's called, its title is How to Make a Horse Fly. किसी ने सुना है उसके बारे में? Anybody has heard of it? It deals with research. It deals with inventions and discoveries. I would suggest all young researchers to first read that book and then venture into research, talk of research. Now coming back to research, I had penned down certain lines while I was in flight. So I would just say that out. Yes, research is an extremely important tool for an individual. Not just for an individual, a department, an institution, a society, a nation, as well as this world as a family, as it embraces the old Indian saying of Vasudev Kutumbakam. But does it happen that way? Now, when one talks of research, one is generally discussing about discoveries, new discoveries and inventions through approaches that may be new and innovative, or approaches which may be traditional and not so innovative. ऐसा नहीं है सारी approach innovative और नहीं होनी चाहिए. There could be some traditional methods of research also. Now, I will talk about research at individual level. I will not talk about research at an institutional level, or I will not even talk about what is the H index of the institution or what is the H index of an individual. I will talk of the research at an individual level. I think the best research at individual level is about discovering one in the first place. Have you discovered your own self? We are out to discover a lot of new things, but have you discovered your own self? Have you found out what are your own strengths and weaknesses as students, as residents? That's the first point of research you need to do. And we all have some strengths and weaknesses. ऐसा नहीं है कि we are black and white, we are shades of gray, we have our strengths and weaknesses. And we need to be ourselves first. When we identify them, we will realize that we need to be ourselves first. Generally hota kya hai, we try to be someone else. We try to either emulate someone because we are impressed by them, we are impressed by their achievements. But every individual is different. So please सबसे पहले अपने आप को discover करिए, and once you discover yourself, reinvent yourself as an individual based on your own weaknesses and strengths. And this research is much more important and tough than the research you do to write papers. ये सबसे मुश्किल research है. This is the toughest research to find out what you are about. And let me tell you, this research does not require any grant, intramural or extramural. इस research के लिए किसी भी grant की ज़रूरत नहीं है. Everybody can do that at an individual level. Now coming to research as the world understands it. Research has numerous steps. And the first step in that is reason. Why are we researching? हम research कर क्यों रहे हैं? क्या हम research out of compulsion कर रहे हैं? MD में thesis लिखनी है, DM में एक thesis लिखनी है. So is it out of compulsion? Is it for personal satisfaction? Is it for personal benefit? For your career progression, जैसा कि किसी ने अभी बोला कि it's important, career progression के लिए research ज़रूरी है. जिसमें H index आ जाता है. Is it for any commercial benefit or for helping society and the humanity? Only when the objective would be to help the society and the humanity, that research will be of benefit to the mankind. So whenever you indulge in research, plan a research subject, this should be the foremost thing on your mind. It should not be about personal benefit. It should not be about your name being first in an article. It's not about limiting the research credit to the first few names. No research is done by an individual. Research is always done by a collection of people. It's done by a team. And every team member becomes equally important. So the second important thing is selecting the subject of the research. जिसकी बात हुई कि it should be India made, it should be tailored. So this selection of subject will always be based on the first, which means reason for research अगर आपका ठीक होगा, तभी आपका subject का selection ठीक होगा. So with these few thoughts, I would end मैं इस research के उसमें आगे नहीं जाऊँगा, एक बात बोलूँगा सिर्फ. Research तो तब भी हुई थी जब bulb produce हुआ था. When Thomas Alva Edison invented the bulb, क्या उस वक्त उसने hypothesis लिखी थी? Did he write a hypothesis? Did he have a methodology? So when you make anything structured, completely structured, you actually kill the innovation. So please don't make research so structured that innovation is lost somewhere. जब आप research projects भी plan करते हैं, think that it need not follow the classical method of research. Look at the idea of what is coming out. You see, if everything is going to be peer reviewed, then what new is going to come out? Any new idea cannot be peer reviewed, क्योंकि किसी ने किया ही नहीं है. Peer review का क्या मतलब है? People who have the same thought process are going to review and encourage research. No, that's not true. So since you are encouraging research, Dr. Ajay, I think these thoughts should go into planning future research. And I congratulate you for organizing the event, but at the same time try to incorporate these things. And please, last message, look at prevention. Every research that I saw today was talking about diagnostics and therapeutics. As a country of a large population, we cannot afford diagnostics and therapeutics. So please focus on primordial prevention. Don't just restrict yourself to subjects of, and one of the research topics you're talking of adulteration is microplastics. We should give up plastics completely in all ways. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for inspiring words. They have truly enriched us. We sincerely thank respected chief guest, Professor Atul Goyal, and guest of honor, Professor Rashmi Kumar. We are truly fortunate to have had you as our guest for inspiring us to strive for greatness. We kindly request ED sir to present a token of our gratitude to our guest, reminding you of profound admiration and respect we hold for you. So this brings us to the end of our formal agenda for today's Research Showcase 2024 event. Now I request Professor Rajneesh Joshi sir, Dean Academics, for vote of thanks.
A very good evening to all of you who are there in this hall and on the dais. First and foremost, I would like to thank our chief guest, Professor Dr. Atul Goyal sir, Director General of Health Services, Union of India, who took time out of his really busy schedule and had missed a parliamentary session going on to come to Bhopal and give us words of wisdom. I would like to thank our guest of honor, Professor Dr. Rashmi Kumar, who has been amidst us in previous years, and her simplicity and source of inspiration is always a guiding source. I would like to thank Dr. Sunil Malik, President, AIIMS Bhopal, and Professor Dr. Ajay Singh sir, Executive Director and CEO, AIIMS Bhopal, whose leadership and vision has always fostered research environment at AIIMS Bhopal. I would like to thank Shri Vineet Mathur, CPMG MP Circle, and his team from India Post for all the hard work his team has done for release of special cover. Here I would like to specially thank Dr. Rajkumar Patil, who is Professor in Community Medicine, for designing and proofreading various versions as it went through. There's a sale counter for display outside the hall, and those who want to buy a small token can do it from that counter. I would like to thank Professor Neelkamal Kapoor, Professor Manisha Srivastava, who were part of our team and are still part of our team, although not in the institute at this point of time. I would like to thank Dr. Munni Ram, Additional Secretary, Department of Technical Education, Government of Madhya Pradesh, Professor Nalini Mishra, Dean, Ellen Medical College, Dr. Raju Khan from AMPRI, Dr. Anant Bhan, who has been and is still on various ethics committees of our institute, Professor Ragini and Dr. Amrita from Barkutala University, and Dr. Harish Rao from People's University. You have taken time and have been part of this research showcase event. Now I would like to specially thank all the young minds, students, residents, scholars, faculty, who are filled with innovation and enthusiasm, and without whom this event would not have taken place. All the faculty members, and many of whom are mentors for these young minds, we'd like to specially thank them for fostering a research culture at AIIMS Bhopal. I would like to thank Dr. Shashank Purwar, who is medical superintendent, Mr. Chiranjeev Das, who is superintending engineer, our teams from administration, engineering, finance, who have always helped us with organizing events at this scale. Then there are a number of cogs in the wheel who have made today's program successful. First and foremost, Research Cell, and especially Dr. Neha Arya and Dr. Jiten Singh, who have really worked hard and gone through various prizes and their finalizations and finalization of the event. All the office staff from dignitaries, especially from Research Cell and academics. All the volunteer students, who, especially those who created Rangoli, artwork, rendered Saraswati Vandana, and helped flawlessly with the stage management as far as delivery of prizes is concerned. I would also like to thank, with a big round of applause, for event management volunteer teams who helped with display of posters, stage management, decoration, travel, accommodation, and food which is going to come after this event. But last and not the least, I would like to thank all the patients who helped us with research and beneficiaries who trust findings of our research for their own well-being. Thank you very much for being part of this event.
I request everyone to stand to join in for the national anthem.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you very much, all our dignitaries, all guests, AIIMS Bhopal family members, for your gracious presence. Please proceed for the lunch, for the dinner that we have arranged for you for networking, leisurely enjoying the evening after the fruitful and enlightening event. Thank you very much.